Snow fell from the dark sky. The wind screamed across the empty land. Everything was white, cold, dead. She walked slowly, each step harder than the last. Her arms were wrapped around a small bundle, her baby. The baby was not moving much now. His small chest rose and fell, weak and slow. His skin had turned pale blue. Too cold, too weak, she was not human. Her skin was light gray, her eyes large and glowing softly. Her name was Iria, and she was from a proud race once known as the Velari. But now the Velari were gone, dead. Lost in war and winter, only she and her child were left. Iria reached a small hill and fell to her knees. She had no more strength to walk. Her legs were numb, her arms shaking. The baby made a soft sound, not a cry, just a whisper. Then silence. Tears ran down her face. They froze before they hit the snow. She knew the end had come. Slowly, she opened her mouth. She began to sing. It was a song her mother once sang. A lullaby of the Velari, a song of peace, of farewell. A song for those who leave the world. Her voice was soft and broken, but clear. The wind carried the tune across the snow. Sleep now. My light. The stars will guide you through the night. No pain, no fear, just dreams so deep. Go now, my child. Go to sleep. She sang for her baby. She sang for herself. She sang for a world that no longer heard songs. As she sang the last line, her voice shook, her head dropped. Her body leaned forward over her child. Silence. But then, something changed. A low sound came through the wind. Heavy footsteps, crunching snow. Slow, steady, not animal. Not Velari. Something was coming. Iria opened her eyes, weak and afraid. She looked up through the snow. A tall shape moved in the white storm. A shadow, dark and large. It walked like a soldier, straight, strong. Then she saw it clearly. It was a human. His body was covered in thick armor. Steam rose from metal plates on his shoulders. His face was hidden under a helmet with glowing blue eyes. His arms carried something, a strange metal pack. Tools. Weapons? She could not tell. Iria's heart raced. She had heard the stories. Her people once fought humans. They were strong, ruthless. She had seen what their machines could do. The human stopped a few steps away. He looked down at her and the child. Then, slowly, he knelt. He opened his helmet. Warm air hissed out. His face was tired, rough, with lines of frostbite, but his eyes were soft. He said something in his own language. She did not understand. Then he tried again, slowly, broken words in the old Velari tongue. I help, you cold, baby sick. Iria did not move. He placed the metal pack on the ground, pressed a button. A circle of heat spread out from it. The snow melted in seconds. Warmth, real warmth. Iria gasped. The baby coughed. A small, weak cry escaped his lips. The human reached into a pouch and pulled out a small glowing capsule. He looked at her. For baby, he said. Medicine. Iria held her baby close, unsure. The human did not push. He placed the capsule near her feet and waited. Then he spoke again, this time pointing to his chest. Name is Dane. Earth Rescue. No harm. Iria looked into his eyes. They were tired, but kind. She nodded slowly. She took the capsule, placed it on her baby's chest. The glow sank into the skin. The baby twitched, then let out a louder cry, a sign of life. Dane smiled. Iria looked at him, still confused. Why? She asked. Why help, enemy? Dane shook his head. No enemy, he said. Not today, just mother, child, cold. The snow still fell, but inside the warm circle, they were safe. Iria looked down at her child, then at the human. The storm howled louder, but inside this small circle of warmth, something new was born. Hope. The blizzard still screamed outside, but inside the small warm circle, time had slowed. Iria sat close to her baby, who now breathed gently. His small chest rose with more strength than before. A faint color had returned to his face. The human Dane didn't speak much. He worked with his hands, quick and focused. He was building something. Metal parts clicked. A light flickered. Then, suddenly fire, a small flame, controlled and blue, danced above a small box he had placed in the snow. The warmth grew stronger. The light glowed against Iria's gray skin. She stared at it with wide eyes. Not just because of the heat, but because of what it meant. Humans carried fire. Real fire. In a land that had forgotten warmth, Dane looked up and saw her wonder. "We call it spark core," he said. "Earth tech. Burns ice, makes heat." She nodded slowly but said nothing. Her people once called humans cold-hearted machines. But this one, he brought fire. He gave life. Iria looked at her baby again. He had stopped shivering. A strange silence fell between them. Dane pulled out a small pack and opened it. Inside were food cubes. He offered one to Iria. She smelled. It was bland but warm. She ate slowly, eyes still on him. Then she asked, quietly, "Why are you here?" Dane chewed his food, thinking, "Looking," he said, "for survivors. Your people sent a signal, long ago, before the ice." Iria's eyes widened. That signal was never answered, we thought. We were forgotten. He looked down. We heard it, too late. The wind howled louder outside. Something moved in the snow. A low growl. Distant but real. Dane stood up quickly. His hand went to the weapon on his back. He looked out into the white wall beyond their shelter. "Something's watching us," he said. Iria's heart sank. "The snow beasts," she whispered. "They come when they smell weakness. They wait in the storm." Dane nodded. "Then we don't wait." He walked to the edge of the heat circle and tapped his wrist. A soft hologram appeared, a map. I came in a drop pod, crashed 5 clicks east. Too cold to reach alone, but now we go together. He looked at her baby. "We need to move, before night, before they come." Iria stood slowly. Her body still weak, but her mind sharp now. "Then let's run before the snow sings for us." Dane smiled, a tired, human smile. He handed her a heat wrap and wrapped one around the baby. Then he picked up his gear and led the way. They stepped out of the warmth. Into the storm. Behind them, the fire still burned, but in front of them, the snow opened its jaws. The snow was quieter now, not calm, just waiting. Each step Iria took left a soft imprint behind her. Beside her, Dane moved like a silent machine, leading the way through endless white. His metal boots left deep, straight tracks. Her steps were shaky, uneven. Between them, the baby slept wrapped in warmth, tied close to Iria's chest. The storm had passed, but the cold was still sharp, like tiny knives in the air. They had walked for over an hour. No words, just wind. Then Dane stopped. Iria almost bumped into him. "What is it?" she asked. He didn't speak. He pointed down, there, across the fresh snow. "Were footprints. Not theirs. Not human. Not Velari." Each print was long and thin, like claws had dragged behind them, too wide to be an animal, too straight to be random. They followed a path, circling their own. Iria's breath caught in her throat. "They've been tracking us," she whispered. Dane's face was hard now. Yes, since the fire. He bent down, scanned the prints with a small device, a soft beep. "Red light, not local wildlife," he muttered. "These are modified, bio-built, lab-born." Iria stepped back. Her arms tightened around her baby. "War creatures," she said. Dane looked at her. "Your people made them?" "No," she said. "We feared them too. They came when our cities fell. They eat what's warm." The baby gave a soft cry. Both of them froze. The wind blew harder again. As if answering the sound, Dane turned sharply. "We need to move, fast, no rest, not until we reach the ship." He picked up the pace. Iria followed, her legs aching. Her mind raced. Why did the footprints look familiar? Then she remembered something her mother once said. They were left behind after the first winter, not dead, not alive, just waiting. Now they were moving again. Hunting. Deeper suspense layer, unique element. As they moved forward, Iria began to notice something else. The snow here wasn't fresh. It was broken, disturbed, as if something big had passed through recently. Trees were scratched, ice cracked. Small pieces of metal lay buried beneath the snow. She picked one up. It was a piece of Velari armor, old, burned. Dane saw it. 2. Someone died here, he said. Or didn't, Iria answered. Suddenly, Dane pulled out a small scanner again. His eyes narrowed. There's something buried below. Before she could speak, a deep rumble came from the ground. Then silence. Then cracks. Thin black lines split across the ice beneath their feet. Dane grabbed her arm. Run! The ice shattered beneath them. Not slowly, not with warning. It exploded. Dane grabbed Iria's wrist just as the ground dropped out from under her. The baby was still tied to her chest, screaming now, alive but afraid. Cracks raced across the ice like lightning bolts, sharp, wild. The world around them fell into blue and black. Then darkness. They hit a slope of snow and slid down into a deep, hidden cave. Cold air rushed past them. Ice walls flashed by. They dropped for what felt like forever. Finally, they landed hard on a frozen surface. The air was silent again. Too silent. Iria groaned and opened her eyes. Her baby was crying, but unhurt. Beside her, Dane stood up slowly, armor scratched, helmet cracked. They were inside a massive cavern, an underground ice chamber. The ceiling above them was jagged crystal. The ground was thin ice over dark water. And they were not alone. Across the ice, something moved, something big. Low, heavy, slow. Its body was like a vault made of shadow and bone. Its eyes burned with green fire. It crawled on long, spiked limbs, almost human in shape, but broken, wrong. It sniffed the air. It had heard the child. Dane raised his weapon, slowly, silently. Iria whispered, "Don't shoot." Not yet, it hunts by sound. Too late, the baby let out a sharp, helpless wail. The beast turned. And charged. Cinematic detail. The creature moved fast, far too fast for its size. Each step cracked the ice beneath it. Its claws left glowing marks in the ground. Dane shouted, "Run!" He opened fire. Bright blue flashes lit the cave. The shots hit the creature's side, burning its flesh, but it didn't stop. It slammed into Dane, throwing him into the wall. Iria screamed. Her legs froze in fear. The beast turned toward her. Then, the ice beneath it gave way. The monster fell through, roaring as it crashed into the freezing water below. Gone. But only for now. Dane pulled himself up, limping. We need to get out before it climbs back. He tapped a button on his wrist. A red blinking light appeared on the ice. Signal beacon, he said. Rescue ship above. They'll scan for this. We hold out until morning. But what if it returns? Iria asked, holding her child close. Dane looked into the black water. It will. Emotional layer. Later, by a weak fire inside a corner of the cave, Iria wrapped her baby in her cloak. Dane sat across from her, wounded but alert. Why are you doing this? She asked him softly. Why risk your life for us? He didn't answer at first. Then quietly he said, Because I once lost someone in a storm like this, a child. I couldn't save her. I swore. Never again? Iria stared at him, no longer afraid. Outside, deep below the ice, the water stirred. The beast was not dead. Just patient. Waiting. Asterisk. The sun never rose on this planet, not really. Just a soft blue glow spread across the ice. Like the sky itself was tired of being awake. They had survived the night. Barely. The creature had not returned, but its memory stayed with them. Every crack in the ice, every gust of wind still made Iria jump. Dane stayed quiet. He hadn't slept. Now, they walked again, through a narrow pass in the cliffs. The wind had carved deep scars into the rocks over centuries. Strange statues stood, half buried in snow, tall, broken heads, their eyes blind. Iria stopped suddenly. She touched one of the stone faces. I know this place, she whispered. These are the gates. Dane turned. Gates to what? She looked at him, her voice shaking. To my people's last home. The city beneath ice. They climbed over a ridge. What lay beyond it took Dane's breath away. Even after everything, a city, frozen in silence. Towers of dark crystal, half buried in snow. Bridges snapped like bones. roads cracked and cold. Number? Movement, no life, and yet something still remained. The buildings were lit by soft, green light pulsing from within the ice. It was not just a ruin. It was watching them. Dane stepped forward slowly. How is it still powered? Iria didn't answer. Her eyes were wide, full of pain and wonder. My people hid here in the last winter. This place was a sanctuary, a last hope. What happened? He asked. She looked at her child. We waited too long for help. The cold took most of us. The rest just vanished. Inside the silent hall, they pushed open the doors of a great hall. A rush of warm air met them. Still working. A miracle. Inside were long tables, old banners, and a central crystal that hummed with soft energy. Dane walked up to it. There's data here, stored memories. He tapped his wrist device to the crystal. Holograms flickered to life. Scenes from the past played around them. Villari children laughing. Scientists working, families singing in groups. Then silence. Then a man appeared. His face was like Iria's, older, kind eyes. He spoke. To any who find this, I am Laren, keeper of the flame. If you have my daughter, protect her. She carries our future. Iria gasped. That's my father. The hologram ended. Dane looked at her, shocked. Your father left this message? For you? She nodded slowly. He stayed behind. We thought he died. Dane said, then maybe he's still here. Maybe he's what the creature was guarding. Mystery turns personal. The baby stirred in Iria's arms, looking up at the glowing crystal. He reached for it with tiny fingers. The crystal pulsed brighter. Something. Inside the city responded. Lights came on. Doors unlocked with soft clicks. Somewhere deep within, machinery began to hum. Dane raised his weapon. We woke something up. Iria stepped back, or someone. Far beneath the city floor, gears began to move. The silent city was no longer silent. Asterisk. The city was waking up. Not with joy. Not with peace. With warnings. Red lights began to flash across the broken towers. A deep, slow siren echoed through the halls. A sound not heard in years. It was the sound of shutdown. It's collapsing, Dane said, looking around. The city's core is unstable. We triggered a final failsafe. Iria held her baby close, her heart racing. Why would my people build something to destroy their last hope? To protect something, Dane said, or to keep something locked inside. They ran through the empty streets. Machines were powering down all around them. Doors sealed. Pathways vanished into smoke. Behind them, deep in the tunnels, a new sound began. Heavy breathing. Claws. The beast below had returned. Countdown begins. They reached a small chamber marked with the Earth symbol. One of Dane's emergency pods was inside, shaped like a black egg, still functional, covered in frost. Dane tapped the control panel. 1 pod, 2 minutes to launch. He looked at Iria. She looked at the pod. Then they both knew. Only one person and the child could fit. No, Iria said instantly. We stay together. Dane stepped forward. There's no choice. I won't leave you behind. He looked at the baby, still asleep, innocent, unaware of the world falling around him. You're not leaving me behind, Dane said softly. I'm sending my promise forward. You're the future. A human's final gift. He pulled off a small, glowing core from his armor chestplate, a fusion cell. This will keep the beast back for a few more minutes. He handed Iria a second chip, the data crystal from the city. Your father's message, your people's history. Earth will want to hear it. It matters now. Iria's eyes filled with tears. Why are you doing this? Dane gave her the smallest smile, because that child still breathes. Because you sang a song when no one was listening. Because I lost everything once, and I won't lose you too. The sirens grew louder. He helped her into the pod, secured the baby, pressed the launch seal. Iria reached out, touched his hand. Her voice shook. I will remember your fire. Dane nodded. Then light your world with it. The pod launched, a blast of wind and fire pushing it upward through the ice. As it vanished into the sky. Dane turned around, alone now, the beast stepped into the room. Towering, hissing, hungry. Dane stood firm. No more running, he said, holding up the fusion cell. For Earth, for her. And he smiled. Just before the light swallowed the dark, asterisk. The stars above were cold and distant, but the child was warm now, wrapped in soft white cloth. His small eyes blinked open, catching the glow of a rising sun. Not on the frozen planet below, but through the window of a quiet room aboard an Earth rescue ship. Iria sat beside him, her hands shaking slightly as she touched his cheek. They had made it. The escape pod had landed. Earth had heard her cries. For the first time in her life, she was safe, but he was not with them. Dane, the human who had walked through the storm, fought a beast, and given up his suit, his pod. His life was gone. Or so she thought. The door hissed open. Iria turned slowly. And her breath caught in her throat. He was alive, but not the same. Dane stood in the doorway. Barely. His arm was in a sling, half his body wrapped in Reagan film, his face pale. But he was standing. They had pulled him from the ruins 2 hours after the explosion. A recovery drone had found his beacon. His armor had melted, but the fusion cell, meant to kill, had only stunned the creature long enough for the drones to reach him. The beast was gone, and Dane was alive. Iria didn't speak. She couldn single quotes to. She just walked to him and placed her forehead against his, a Valari sign of deepest respect. She sang again. That night, Iria sat in the medbay beside her baby. The stars outside shone like silver dust. Dane sat nearby, watching. Silently. Iria looked at her child, then began to sing. Same song. Same soft melody, but this time it was not a goodbye. There was a welcome. Sleep now, my light. The stars are calm. The world is right. No fear, no pain, just dreams to keep. Do live, my child. And now we sleep. Her voice filled the small room like sunlight fills a cave. Dane closed his eyes, letting the music take him. The war, the storm, the beast, the pain. It was all still there. But so was the song. So was the baby. So was she. Final lines, humanity's legacy. Later, as the ship drifted into orbit, a young Earth officer asked Dane a quiet question. Why'd you save her? You didn't even know them. Dane looked through the window at the stars, then at the baby in Iria's arms. He smiled and answered, because they sang in the snow when no one was listening. That's what makes us human.